My brother's loud laugh fills the dining room while I stare at the $50 Home Depot gift card in my hands. It's not even enough to buy good paintbrushes, let alone the special tools I need for my restoration work. Thanks, I say, though the word feels bitter in my mouth. My mother smiles brightly at the twins, who are both wearing matching Cartier watches, birthday gifts from last month. Well, we know how practical you are, Joan. This way you can pick out exactly what you need. My name is Joyce, not Joan. Never Joan. But I stopped correcting her years ago. Mike and Justin are already talking about their new golf clubs, heads close together like little boys with a secret. The price tags are still hanging on the bags, $5,000 each. The same amount I needed for the art restoration workshop in Naples. Speaking of practical, my dad says, fixing his tie, the boys just closed their first big deals at the firm, following right in my footsteps. He lifts his whiskey glass. To the Richard legacy. Everyone raises their glasses, except Natalie Dawson. She looks at me from across the table with eyes that say she understands. She sees me gripping my wine glass so tightly that my knuckles are white. And what about Joyce's work on the Thompson portrait? Natalie Dawson says, her voice cutting through the room. That was quite an achievement, wasn't it? My mother waves it off like it's nothing. Oh, yes, the painting thing. Very nice, dear. Then she turns back to the twins. Now tell everyone about that merger you're working on. Paul, my boyfriend, squeezes my knee under the table. I know what he wants, for me to speak up, to ask for the credit I deserve. But after 31 years of being ignored, I've learned that speaking out just leaves you feeling empty. Actually, I say, standing up, I should get going. I have an early meeting tomorrow. It's a lie. I just can't sit here another minute. Justin looks up, surprised. Sometimes I really think he has no idea how they treat me. But we haven't had cake yet. Save me a slice. I force a smile as I grab my coat and purse. Paul starts to stand up, but I shake my head a little. Someone should stay and watch this perfect family moment, Mom and Dad proudly standing next to their favorite sons while the forgotten daughter quietly walks away. Natalie Dawson touches my arm as I pass. Remember what I told you, she whispers. Sometimes, quiet revenge feels the best. I kiss her cheek and breathe in her soft lavender scent. She slips an envelope into my hand. Happy birthday, my dear. Open it when you get home. The drive home is a blur of lights and tears I won't let fall. Back in my apartment, I finally open the envelope. Inside is a check for $60,000 and a short note. To restore what matters most, your spirit. They'll never see it coming. I sit on the couch, hands shaking as I hold the check. My phone lights up with messages from Paul, but I don't answer. Instead, I open my laptop and find an old email draft, an application for a top art restoration job at the Broad in Los Angeles. For years, I've been the good daughter, quietly accepting their coldness like bitter medicine. But Natalie was right. Quiet revenge really does feel better. I hit send on the application. Inside me, something shifts. It feels like the first crack in an old painting, showing the hidden pain beneath the surface. Let them have their picture-perfect family. I'll make my own masterpiece step by step until they realize what they lost. And by then, it'll be too late. As I run my finger over the gold frame of the Rembrandt I'm restoring, my mother's voice comes through the speakerphone. We're going to the Woody Creek house this Christmas, darling. The whole family will be there. Even the boys are taking time off from the firm. Always about the boys. I have work here, I say, carefully fixing a small patch of color on the painting. The museum has a few pieces that need me. Joyce, this is family, she snaps, cutting off my excuse. Your father already arranged the jet. The twins are bringing their girlfriends. It'll be just like old times. Old times? Like when they left me behind at the Museum of Neon Art during a family trip because Mike had a tennis game. I was 17. A guard found me drawing alone in a closed hall. I'll think about it, I say. And bring Paul. He's such a nice young man. Though I still don't get why he doesn't work for a real agency. What is that freelance thing he does? My phone buzzes again, Paul calling. I have to go, Mom. A client's calling. Before she can say anything else, I hang up. Save me. I said that. I ask. Paul's voice feels calm, like something soft on a burn. I just got an interesting email, he says. You might want to come over when you're done. Later, at his apartment, Paul shows me his laptop. It's an email from my dad's company. They're asking for ideas to rebrand their entire image. The budget is huge. And you're thinking about doing it? I ask, feeling sick at the thought of Paul working with my father. Think about it, Judy, he says. This could give us access, files, client lists, money info. Everything they've built their so-called legacy on. His eyes shine with the idea. I get up and start pacing. That would cross a line. Like they crossed the line with you. For 31 years? He gently grabs my hand and pulls me close. You saw the check from Natalie Dawson. She wants you to fight back. This might be your chance. Before I can answer, my phone buzzes. It's Justin. Justin. Hey sis, heard you might skip Woody Creek. Not cool. We need you there so he doesn't bore everyone with golf stories. Second message. Also big news. Family stuff. I show the messages to Paul. He raises an eyebrow. Family stuff? What? Did they finally remember you exist? Justin's a little different, I say. Sometimes he at least tries. Tries to do what? Paul says sharply. Let you peek into their perfect world while they hand him everything on a silver plate? You deserve more than their leftovers. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Natalie Dawson. Natalie Dawson. Come see me tomorrow, dear. There are things you need to know before Woody Creek. Paul reads over my shoulder. Now that's interesting. I think about the check in my drawer. The application I sent to the Met. 31 years of being left out. I'll go to Woody Creek, I say. But first, I'm going to hear what Natalie Dawson has to say. Paul pulls up the email again. And my proposal? I stare at my father's company logo on the screen. I remember all those times he took the twins to his office to teach them the business, while I sat at home alone with my art books. Do it, I say. But be careful. If they get suspicious. Trust me, Paul says, kissing my forehead. By the time we're done, they won't know what hit them. That night, I lie awake thinking about Justin's message. Family stuff. Last time there was family stuff, the twins became partners at the firm. Before that, they got matching BMWs for passing the bar exam. My phone lights up with one last message from my mother. Mom, booked your flight. First class, of course. The boys insisted. Of course, they did. In the Richard family, everything is first class, except the daughter, who never quite fit. But frames can be fixed. Or broken beyond repair. I refresh the application page for the Met for the 100th time. Still says under review. But soon they'll see. All of them will. I close my eyes. Natalie Dawson's words repeat in my mind. The quietest revenge is the most satisfying. Tomorrow, I'll find out what secrets she's been keeping. And in Woody Creek, we'll see who's really ready for this so-called family moment. Natalie Dawson's hands tremble slightly as she slides a brown folder across her old coffee table. Your father's company isn't as perfect as they pretend, she says. These papers might interest you. Inside, I find financial statements, investment records, and trust fund papers. My eyes stop on the numbers. There are educational trusts set up for the twins, millions of dollars. Private school fees, internships in Europe, fancy sports camps. The list just keeps going. Then I find my name. Only one entry. J. Richard. Art school loan. $35,000. A loan. Not a gift. While my brothers had their entire education paid for, I was left with debt. There's more, Natalie says, her voice firmer now. Look at the last page. It's a copy of my father's will. Updated just last month. The family's art collection, pieces I've spent years helping restore and take care of, is to be given completely to Mike and Justin. They don't even care about art, I whisper, my fingers tightening around the page. No, they don't, Natalie agrees. She gently takes my hand. But this isn't just about art, is it? My phone buzzes. It's Paul. Paul. Meeting your father's firm in an hour. You were right about the money. Something doesn't add up. How did you even get all this? I ask Natalie. She gives a small smile, but her eyes stay serious. Your grandfather wasn't the only one who knew how to handle the family business. Before he died, he told me he had some concerns about how your father was managing things. Another text from Paul. Found something big. Really big. Call me ASAP. The Woody Creek trip, Natalie continues. There's a reason they want everyone there. Your father is going to announce his retirement. The firm will go to the twins. I laugh, but it sounds empty. Of course it will. But timing is everything, she says. She pulls out another folder. And I think the timing is just right for some truths to come out. Before she can show me more, my phone rings. It's my mother. Joyce, darling. Great news. The boys just closed the Henderson deal. We're having a big dinner to celebrate tonight. You'll come, right? I look down at the papers in my lap. Actually, Mother, I say calmly, I have my own news to share. There's a pause. Her tone changes, already expecting disappointment. I've been accepted into the restoration program at the Broad in Los Angeles. There's a long silence on the line. But what about the family? The firm? Your brothers need. My brothers need what? The words come out before I can stop them. More money? More praise? More pieces of my life to take for themselves. I don't understand why you're being so dramatic, my mother says. We've always supported your little hobby. Hobby? I repeat, standing up and pacing Natalie Dawson's living room. Is that what you call 20 years of hard work? The hours I've spent restoring our family's art collection? The same collection you're giving to the twins. She pauses. How did you? Then stops herself. Who told you about the will? Does it matter? I ask. Were you ever going to tell me the truth? Just then, another text from Paul pops up. Found proof. Your father's been stealing client money for years. My mother's voice sharpens. We'll talk about this in Woody Creek. As a family. Yes, I say, watching Natalie Dawson pull out more papers from a second folder. I suppose we will. I hang up and call Paul. His voice is filled with energy. Judy, this is even bigger than we thought. Your dad's been running a scam for years, using client money to pay for Mike and Justin's lifestyles. He's been hiding it through fake accounts. I look at Natalie Dawson. She gives me a slow nod. He wasn't as smart as he thought, she says. Your grandfather kept records of everything. My phone buzzes again. It's Justin calling, probably to show off about the merger. But this time, I don't feel that old sting of jealousy. I feel something else, something colder, more focused. The Met job starts in January. I tell Natalie Dawson. Right after Woody Creek. She pats my hand. Perfect timing, don't you think? Now let's go through the rest of these documents. I silence my phone and lean forward. It's time to find out just how broken this perfect family really is. And in Woody Creek, they'll finally learn what happens when they push the quiet one too far. The acceptance letter from the Broad sits on my kitchen counter like a warning. Paul paces behind me, full of energy. This is perfect, Judy. Your father's big announcement in Woody Creek, and now we have proof of everything. My phone rings again. It's Justin, for the third time today. You should answer, Paul says. Keep pretending everything is normal. At least until we're ready. I pick up. Justin. Judy, thank God, he says. His voice sounds different, tired, worried. I need to talk to you. Not on the phone. Can we meet? Paul shakes his head, signaling no. But something in Justin's voice makes me stop. When? I ask. Now. At the old gallery. Please, sis. It's important. An hour later, I walk into the gallery. Justin stands alone, staring at our grandfather's Monet painting. He looks smaller than usual. His normal confidence is gone. I found something, Justin says without turning around. It's about Dad's retirement and the firm. My heart starts beating faster. What about it? The Henderson merger, it's fake. He finally looks at me. His eyes are red. The whole thing's a lie. Dad's been moving client money around for years, hiding losses. When he announces his retirement in Woody Creek, he's planning to disappear with everything. The room feels like it's spinning. And the twins will be left with a mess? I whisper. Exactly. Justin runs his hand through his hair. Mike doesn't know yet. He still thinks everything's fine. He glances at the Monet painting. Did you know Dad already sold this? And half the collection too? My hands curl into fists. When? Last month, right after he changed his will. Justin laughs, but it's cold and sad. I guess he figured if he's going down, he'd take everyone with him. My phone buzzes. It's Paul asking where I am. I ignore it. Why are you telling me this? I ask. Justin steps closer and lowers his voice. Because you are the only one who ever saw through all of it. The golden twins, the perfect sons, it was never real. We were just background pieces in their game. His voice shakes. And now you want my help? I want to fix this, he says. He pulls out a USB drive. Everything's on here, fake accounts, missing money, property scams. Help me stop him before Woody Creek. Before he disappears. I look down at the drive. Paul's voice rings in my head. Keep up appearances until we're ready. But whose plan am I really following? Justin grabs my arm. There's more. About Paul. The gallery door swings open. Paul walks in, his face serious. Sorry I'm late, Judy. Justin, what a surprise. Justin holds on to my arm tighter. Tell her, he says to Paul. Tell her who really planned the Henderson merger. Paul steps forward, smiles sharp and cold. Careful, Justin. Some truths are better left hidden. Like how you've been working with your dad this whole time. Justin's words hit hard. He's lying. Paul has been playing both sides, setting up his own way out. I step back, confused, everything falling apart around me. Paul. Don't listen to him, Paul says quickly. He's desperate. Trying to turn you against me. The proof is on the drive, Justin says. It also shows Paul's hidden accounts. He's been stealing for months. I look at the Monet again. Another beautiful painting hiding something ugly. Just like everything in my life. My phone buzzes again. A message from my mother. Darling, your father needs to speak with you immediately. It's about the firm. I look at both of them, Justin and Paul. One says he's protecting me. The other claims to love me. But either could be lying. The acceptance letter from the Met is in my bag, burning like a secret. My way out. But whose escape is it now? Paul reaches for me. Everything I did was for us. I step back. No. Everything you did was for you. Then I take the USB drive from Justin. I'm going to Woody Creek, I tell both of them. But not for either of you. Outside, the cold air stings my face. I take out my phone and start to call Natalie Dawson, but I pause. How many more lies am I about to discover? The USB drive feels heavy in my pocket as I walk away from the gallery, leaving both men behind. In the glass window, the Monet reflects back at me, another beautiful lie in a family full of them. Woody Creek is coming fast. And now I have 3 different versions of the truth to sort through before my dad makes his big announcement. The question is, who am I really about to destroy? On my laptop, I open the USB drive. Spreadsheets, bank records, and emails appear, like a map leading straight to disaster. My father's name is on everything. And next to his signature is another name I know too well. Paul Pogba, financial consultant. My phone lights up again, Paul. He's called 18 times since I left the gallery. A knock at my door makes me quickly shut the laptop. I look through the peephole. It's Mike, still in his work suit. I know you're in there, Judy, he says. Justin told me everything. I open the door, but don't let him in. Did he tell you about Paul? Mike looks confused. I'm here about Dad. The Henderson deal? It's fake. I know that now. He runs a hand through his hair, and for a moment, he looks just like Justin. It makes my chest hurt. There's more, he says. Mom's involved too. The hospital board is looking into missing money, and her name is connected to Dad's hidden accounts. The room spins a little. What? They're planning something in Woody Creek. Justin thinks. My phone buzzes again. This time, it's Natalie Dawson. Come quickly. Your mother is here. I have to go, I tell Mike. Judy, wait. He grabs my arm. Whatever you're planning with Paul, don't. He's not who you think he is. At Natalie Dawson's house, I find my mother sitting in the parlor. She looks calm, but her hands are shaking. The broad called me, she says without warning, about your application. I stop in my tracks. How did they? Paul contacted them, she says. He told them he had concerns about your mental health. She sets her teacup down. He gave them details about your anger toward the family. The betrayal hits me like a punch. He wouldn't. Oh, sweetheart, she says with a cold smile. Men like Paul don't love people like us. They use us. Just like you used me. I snap, the words coming out before I can stop them. To make the twins look better. To cover your own lies. Natalie Dawson steps forward. Cheryl. Stay out of this, Mother, my mom says, standing up. Her sharp, practiced voice returns. You've meddled enough. First with those documents, and now with exposing your fraud. I take out the USB drive, the one that holds proof of Dad's plan to run away with everything. Something changes in my mom's eyes. Fear. Where did you get that? She asks. Does it matter? I say. The truth is coming out in Woody Creek anyway. Is that what Justin told you? She says with a soft laugh. Oh, Joyce, you still don't see it, do you? What are you talking about? Justin and Paul have been working together since the beginning. They needed someone with access to the family's weak spots. Someone angry enough to be used. My phone buzzes again. One final text from Paul. Check your email. I'm sorry. With shaking hands, I open my inbox. There it is, my Met application. Forwarded to every major gallery and museum in the country. Along with it, a file full of accusations, my family's financial problems, and claims about my mental health. The art show you were planning, my mother says. The one where you'd reveal everything? Paul already sold the story. He called it The Neglected Daughter's Revenge, about a broken family and a dramatic downfall. It's going to make him very famous. Natalie Dawson steps toward me to offer comfort, but I step back. You knew? I ask. Not everything, she whispers, but enough. I needed you to see it for yourself. My phone buzzes again. Email after email, galleries canceling, museums pulling back, my future falling apart with each message. We leave for Woody Creek tomorrow, my mother says calmly. You have a choice, Joyce. Come with us, help clean this up, and we'll deal with Paul together. Or stay here and let him ruin everything, including you. I look at both of them. My mother, cold and controlled. Natalie Dawson, soft but full of secrets. Then I see my own reflection in the dark window, blurred and broken by the fading light. The USB drive in my pocket feels heavier than ever. It's full of truth, but whose truth? And what would it cost to use it? I'll see you in Woody Creek, I say at last. My mother nods. Her face shows a mix of pride and something that looks like regret. As she leaves, Natalie Dawson touches my arm. Remember, she whispers, sometimes the best revenge is letting people destroy themselves. I watch my mother's car disappear into the night. My mind already turning, planning what comes next. Because in the Richard family, the truth is just another masterpiece, meant to be restored or completely broken. And I'm done being someone else's canvas. The Woody Creek house stands tall ahead of me, its windows glowing in the sunset like cold, judging eyes. Inside, I hear laughter. The Richard family reunion is already happening. I touch the USB drive in my coat pocket and climb the steps. Justin opens the door before I can knock. You came. Not for you, I say. The big room goes quiet as everyone turns to look. I walk into the room. My father stands by the fireplace, holding a drink. My mother sits on the arm of his chair, looking calm and proud. The perfect power couple. Mike stands near the window, avoiding my eyes. Joyce, my father says loudly. We were just talking about the Henderson merger. Were you? I ask, stepping closer. I notice his hand tightening around his glass. Or were you talking about Paul's book deal? My mother gasps. How did you? I hold up my phone. Paul sent me the draft this morning. The title? The Art of Deception. Inside America's Most Corrupt Family.
Catchy, isn't it?
It's all lies, my father says, but he looks pale now. Is it? I ask, looking around the room. Offshore accounts, Mom's hospital fraud, the fake merger. What part is a lie? Justin steps forward. Judy, let me explain. Explain what? I say. How you and Paul used me. Or how you both plan to run away with Dad's money after tomorrow's announcement. Mike turns to Justin, shocked. Justin. I laugh, but it sounds sharp and painful. Oh, he didn't tell you that part? Your twin's been working with Paul for months. They needed someone inside the family, and who better than the golden boy? That's enough, my father says, putting down his glass. This ends now. You're right, I say, pulling out the USB drive. It does end now. But before I can say more, the door opens again. Paul walks in, with 3 men in suits behind him. Sorry I'm late, he says, walking to stand beside my father. Airport traffic was a nightmare. My mother stands up, calm as ever. Paul has been helping us prepare for tomorrow's big announcement. Haven't you, dear? The room spins. It all hits me at once. They were all in on it. Every one of them. The book deal, I whisper. The museum rejection. The leaked documents, it was all a setup. Paul nods. A test. To see how far you go for revenge. Your father wanted to know if you could be trusted with the real family business. And you failed, my mother says coldly. Just like always. The 3 men in suits step forward. One reaches for the USB drive in my hand. They're federal agents, my father says. Here to arrest whoever tried to harm the firm. You can't do this. We can, Justin says. And we will. Unless. My father picks up a document from the fireplace mantel. Unless you sign this, he says. Give up your rights to the family trust. Agree to check into a private hospital for treatment. If you do that, he says calmly, this all goes away. I look around the room one last time. At my mother's cold control, my father's careful planning, the twins' fake innocence, and at Paul, who taught me everything about revenge, except how to spot it when it's aimed at me. There's one thing you forgot, I say, taking out my phone. And what's that? My father asks. I press play. His voice fills the room, his full confession to Paul in the gallery last week. Then Justin's voice, planning their escape. And finally, my mother admitting to the hospital fraud. I learned from the best, I say as their faces turn pale. And I learned one rule, never trust anyone completely. Before they can react, the real federal agents burst into the room. In seconds, handcuffs click into place. I turn to leave, stopping when I see Natalie Dawson standing in the doorway. She mouths, well done. That's when I understand. She planned this all along. She used their own tricks to take them down. Outside, snow begins to fall, covering the Richard family's perfect image in cold, white silence. Tomorrow, the headlines will tear that image apart. But tonight, standing in the dark mountain air, I wonder, does winning feel like winning? Or is it just another kind of revenge? 7 months later, applause echoes through the Broad's Grand Hall. I'm standing at the front, accepting the Restoration Excellence Award. My name finally stands on its own. Miss Richards' work on the newly discovered Vermeer shows incredible talent, the presenter says. Her techniques have changed how we understand art restoration. At the back of the room, I spot Paul slipping in, wearing the same smug smile he had in Woody Creek. Mike is behind him. Then Justin. My hands tighten on the podium. Thank you, I say, cutting the presenter short. But I'd like to share something about restoration. The crowd goes quiet. In the front row, Natalie Dawson gives me a small nod. Sometimes, I say, what looks broken is actually showing its true form. Like this painting. I point to the Vermeer behind me. For years, people thought it was a fake, damaged on purpose. But the truth was always there. Just hidden. Paul steps forward, his smile fading. My family's law firm said they helped people rebuild their lives. My mother's clinic promised to fix broken bodies. But both were lies, hiding corruption under perfect surfaces. Gasps ripple through the audience. Journalists lean forward. What they didn't understand about restoration is simple. I continue. You can't fake what's real. Every brushstroke tells the truth. I meet Paul's eyes. Every betrayal leaves a mark. He reaches into his jacket. Security moves in, ready. The fall of the Richard family wasn't just about stolen money, I say. It was about what it costs to pretend everything's perfect. That's enough, Paul says sharply. You've made your point. Have I? I ask, staring straight at him. I step away from the podium. Tell them about the book deal, Paul, I say. Tell them how you played both sides, how you sold out everyone for your own revenge. You don't understand, he starts, but Justin cuts him off. Show them the real contract, Paul, Justin says loudly. The one you signed with our father before everything fell apart. Paul turns to him quickly. You said you destroyed that. I lied, Justin replies, pulling out his phone. Just like you lied about helping Judy, about helping any of us. The contract appears on the big screen. Paul's name is right next to my father's. It's dated years before I ever met Paul. Their plan had been to take down the Richard family from the inside. You needed me broken, I say quietly. You wanted me angry enough to turn on my own family. But you didn't count on one thing. Paul looks bitter. Natalie Dawson, he mutters. She stands tall, graceful even at 85. I taught Joyce the most important lesson about restoration, she says calmly. Sometimes, to save something valuable, you have to remove everything fake first. Security moves closer as Paul reaches into his jacket. But instead of a weapon, he pulls out a gallery contract, the rights to my family's story. You still need me, he says. Your reputation, your success, it's built on this story. The brave artist who Dawson after her family's betrayal. I turn to the Vermeer behind me and gently face it toward the crowd. Look closely, I say. What do you see? People lean in, studying the painting. The damage, I explain, wasn't hidden. It was made part of the restoration. The cracks, the wear, the age, it's all part of its beauty now. It's truth. Then I look at Paul one last time. I don't need your version of my story. I'm not a fake waiting to be uncovered. I'm every crack, every scar, every hard truth that made me whole. As security takes Paul away, Mike and Justin walk up to the stage. We stand together, three damaged parts of a family finally seeing each other for who we really are. The thing about restoration, I say to the quiet crowd, is that it's not about making something new. It's about honoring what's left. And sometimes, what remains is more beautiful than what was lost. This time, the applause feels real, not for a perfect story, but for the truth behind it. As I leave the stage, Natalie Dawson takes my hand. Ready for what comes next? She asks. I glance back at the Vermeer, full of beautiful flaws. Yes, I say. I finally am. The restored Vermeer now hangs in the center of my first solo exhibition. Its damaged beauty draws quiet whispers from the visitors. Next to it, photos tell the real story of my family, the Richard family, once perfect on the outside, now cracked open. My mother's medical license, revoked. My father's mugshot from prison. Paul's confession, printed in the Los Angeles Times. Each image is like a brushstroke in this final piece of restoration. You've made quite a statement, Natalie Dawson says softly beside me. Though I have a feeling this isn't the full truth either. I touch the frame of the Vermeer. There's something I never told you about this painting, I say. It's not actually damaged. I run my fingers over the cracked surface. These marks, they're not mistakes. The artist made them on purpose. To show that beauty isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. Mike walks up, with Justin close behind. Without our parents towering over them, they both seem smaller somehow. We found more papers, Mike says quietly. They explain why Dad always chose us. I don't want to know, I reply. You should, Justin says, handing me an old envelope. It's about Grandpa's will. The real one. Inside is a letter, written before I was born. My grandfather's handwriting is clear and sharp. To my first grandchild goes everything: the firm, the art, the legacy, unless that child is a daughter. He told Dad he'd be cut off if he didn't keep the business in the hands of a son, Mike says. That's why they tried to break you. I tighten my hand around the letter. Make me doubt myself until I walked away from my claim. Jules, Justin says, gently touching my hand. We didn't know. Not until now. A noise near the door catches our attention. My parents are entering the gallery, surrounded by their lawyers. My mother looks tired, her usual control replaced by quiet defeat. My father walks slowly, no longer the strong figure he used to be. They're not allowed in here, Mike says, stepping forward. I stop him. Let them see. They walk through the exhibition, looking at each photo and truth that now lines the walls. When they reach the Vermeer, my father raises his hand to touch it, then lets it fall. You restored it, he says without looking at me. Just like you restored the truth. No, I say, stepping beside him. I didn't fix it. I just stopped hiding the damage. My mother speaks softly, her voice breaking. We thought we were protecting you. From what? I ask. From success? From love? From becoming something better than what you were? Natalie Dawson steps forward, her presence strong and steady. There's one more thing you should know, Joyce, she says. She hands me an old photo, her as a young woman, standing in front of a painting that looks just like the Vermeer. Your grandfather didn't write that will, she says. I did. To show him how it feels when someone tries to control your life with fear. The lights in the gallery seem to dim, as if focusing on just us in front of the painting that started it all. So, this was your revenge? I ask, using me to destroy what he built. No, dear, she says, taking my hand. This wasn't revenge. This was your restoration. I only gave you the tools. As security leads my parents out, I look at the Vermeer one last time. In its cracked surface, I see all of us. The perfect family we never were. The broken one we became. And something new beginning to form from the cracks. What happens now? Justin asks. I think of Paul in prison still believing he was in control. Of my parents, facing their actions. Of the legacy built on fear. And I say, we stop trying to fix what was broken. We build something new instead. I tell them it's time to start something new. The gallery lights grow brighter, lighting up the whole room. Critics praise the work, calling it technically brilliant, full of emotion, and brave in how it shows the truth. But they miss what really matters. The true masterpiece is right in front of them. 3 siblings standing side by side, finally seeing each other clearly. Natalie Dawson quietly slips away, leaving behind one last note. The most beautiful restorations don't hide the damage. They turn it into something new. I look at my brothers and at our reflection in the Vermeer's shining surface. In the painting's flaws, on purpose and clear, I see our future. Not perfect, not fully healed, but real. And ours. The damage is still there. But now, it tells a different story.